it's very important to have a lot of community with the boys. It's good, all the boys coming together, all of them having fun, and all of them remembering something about Kingsway.
We used to have a girls' ministry, and so it was student-directed and student-led, and a whole heap of boys are coming up to us and saying, hey, why do we have a girls' ministry and not a boys' ministry? And we thought, well, why not?
And the rest is history. This council has been running spectacular events for 3 years, and it's still going strong. From tyre flipping to raves, we've done it all.
We did a lot of the Boys events this year. We had a lot of fun doing them, and we created some new events as well for the next year to do.
I just like the way that events have evolved. The strongman competition and how that started back in 22 and how it's evolved this year is more of like a tournament thing.
I think everybody loved it. We had a couple different activities that everybody was doing, and one of them was push-ups, which I ended up winning. Didn't cheat, just saying.
I'm hoping that, you know, next year and in the years to come that the strongman competition will be even better.
It's motivated the guys to get involved, and even down to the, you know, the stupid fun stuff, rolling mattresses and, you know, tires and stuff like that. I mean, that's, and having arm wrestling competitions and stuff. And I know that it's silly, as in it's just little stuff, but it's meant heaps, I think, for a lot of the boys just to have something cool. And it's actually involved those who wouldn't normally get involved in things.
Actually, you should ask me a question to do with the history of the other boys. So 2021 was the first year of the official council, but it actually dated back probably 5 years before that, where they had testosteronomy apparently.
Like when I was at school, we had a, it was effectively boys ministry that met like once a month or so when I was in year 13. It was called testosteronomy.
I mean, I'm talking a long time ago. There was a group, and I think it's moving towards that again, where there was a real serious space in there as well.
But it was never an official council. It was more like an opportunity for senior school boys to hang out together and have a bit of community.
It was just a bunch of boys meeting up and doing some fun things together, but nothing officially organised. Like they still had the year 12 and 13 football games and those sort of things.
Thing to the direction of it, like I was saying before, the direction of it going from just fun and enjoying to having a serious element there too, of camaraderie, but also of just something a bit deeper. Yeah, really positive. I don't think there's any negatives in that space.
I couldn't actually quite believe that I had broken my leg. Like I was kind of hoping that I would just go to sleep that night and I would wake up and it's just some twisted dream and my mind was just playing tricks on me. You know, Dwayne was running towards me with the ball and I decided that I was not going to let him get the shot off, and he kicked the ball, but he also ended up kicking my shin, and that broke both of the bones over here, a clean break. I called the ambulance and everything. I was taken to the hospital. They did x-rays, tried to realign it, and then a panel of surgeons had to tell me that I need to undergo surgery because the bone was not quite straightened. But we were all in a little gazebo because it was raining, but it felt good to like have some guys there to like you know, just to comfort me while the ambulance was coming, because it took like 40 minutes for him to get there. Yeah, but it felt good to, you know, sit there and I mean, we started cracking jokes and everything. It just felt good with those guys.
Is it beneficial to you just to have a community, to go to a school where there's a positive community of boys that will just help you and be there for you?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, so I think the fact that I had a nice community with me, nice group of boys who were, you know, supporting me and everything, sending prayers, that definitely made things better.
I just love watching people come together and support each other, whether it's at an event, whether it is just a couple of mates hanging out and, you know, being honest about feelings and things that are going on. Any opportunity to provide community is something really, really close to my heart, and something that I try and do in every facet of life.
And in that space, there's the potential for a lot of depth of mentorship and learning and growing and, you know, connecting with each other in that way. And so I think what you're fostering by having this council in school is you're showing young guys how to do connection well.
Community should always exist to support people, and specifically to support people in the community. So if there are people who are struggling who are not a part of the community, then, you know, we need to offer an opportunity to bring those people in, because we'll have a great time if it's just the people that we want, but that comes at a cost, and it comes at the cost of people feeling left out, seeing what is going on, and you know, like, that's, you know, not to get preachy, but like that's not what Jesus was about. Jesus was about bringing everybody into it.
And I think having an outlet for mentorship, communication, being vulnerable with other people who are safe to have that connection with, challenging young guys to be who they can be, to be better, to step up into that space, that's so needed. And there's wonderful organizations doing it, and they're going into places like schools, and that's cool. But to do it within a school, I think it's excellent. Like, I think I love what the guys do, I love what the girls do, but I love this concept of guys actually getting around, helping each other, mentoring each other, growing each other, having a hang of a lot of fun together, which is just key, right? It lifts their mental health, it lifts their ability to connect with each other, to communicate with each other.
You know, look for the people who maybe are not as easily a part of this crew, and bring them into it, because you don't know what they're going through, and you don't know the impact that actively being sought out and included might have on them.
I think our masculinity holds us back from a fuller faith sometimes. Like, the way that culture talks about our masculinity, I think it holds us back from not only being emotionally aware of ourselves, like emotionally intelligent. We have to look at what's taught in the household. At least, like, what was taught to me. Okay, what was taught to me? You can't talk about your emotions. You can't be vulnerable or be open. You can't be weak. And yet all of these things we hear about Jesus. He was meek, he was humble. It's challenging. To answer your question, it's challenging. But hopefully, in the time that we have at youth, and in the moments where we're chatting one-on-one with kids, we can create an environment for them to encounter with the Holy Spirit, and allow the Holy Spirit to actually do the unwinding of this toxic masculinity, this culture that we think we have to be XYZ to be a man. When in reality, we just have to love Jesus and love people. And in doing that, well, that's what being the best man is. Loving God and loving people. People will ask the question, what can I do to be a better man? And I think this thing, like this answer that I've given them, you can put this into being a good man in a relationship, being a good man in a marriage, in a friendship. We actually need to stop focusing on being a good man. And instead we need to turn the question on, instead of how can I be a good man, how can I be more like Jesus? And in being more like Jesus, we will find more peace, more answers, more freedom, more courage than we would if we looked at how can I be a better man. If we can become more like Jesus, we will be the best man that we can be.